到00年出台这个管理办法，到06年出台这个国家大学科学的政策，其实形成了比较系统的这个政策文件。
So from the year 1999 to the year 2006, actually it represents the policy development period of China. So the Chinese government improves improves the regulations and policies relating to university science park development. And there are three milestones I would like to introduce here. One is in the year 1999, the Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Education, PRC, announced 15 pilot universities science parks. And the second milestone is in the year 2000, measures for the management of National University Science Park. The trial version documentation has been put into place. And then move to the year 2006. The official version of Notice on Taxation Policies of National University Science Park was published. So all that shows that China has established a system or a system for policy in terms of policy to develop the science parks.
行，那么从2009年到2019年这10年呢，国家大学科学园整个的建设、认定、评价这样管理工作在稳步推进。那么到目前为止，我们总共认定了10批115家国家大学科学园。
So in the next decade, from 2009 to 2019, it witnesses the construction, identification, and management of science parks, university science parks in China. And by far, China has identified altogether 115 national university science parks.
那么2019年的时候，国家对大学科学园有了新一轮的这样的一个功能的导向和任务的这种定位。那么我们出台了国家大学科学园的指导意见和新的管理办法。
In the year 2019, a further uplift of the understanding and recognition on university science parks in China. The Chinese government has pointed the new functional direction of science parks and also the new position and different or more like accurate positioning of the science park. And then at the year 2019, measures for the management of national university science parks was created.
那么发展到现在，我们的115家的国家大学科学园基本上已经覆盖了，除了西藏自治区之外，所有的省自治区和直辖市的100多个高校。
So to date, as I mentioned, China has 115 national university science parks. They covered over 100 universities from almost all provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities in China, excluding Tibet.
那么从整个的布局上来看，其实还是主要集中在北京、上海，包括江苏省这3个地方。基本上这3个地方每一家的大学科学园都超过了10家，位列这个全国的这个排名的前3。
In terms of geographical distribution of the national university science parks, the top three players hosting the most of the national university science parks are Beijing, Jiangsu, and Shanghai. Each of them has over 10 university science parks.
那么从整个的规模和面积上，现在整个的国家大学科学园面积将近达到了600万平方公里，里面的在服企业将近1万家，然后已经之前累计毕业的企业已经超过了12000家。其实大学科学园已经成为一个地方，就是出现这种新的创业企业，出现这种新产业非常重要的创新源头。
So to give you an overall view on the National University Science Park scale, the total area of the science university science parks in China is currently speaking is 5.996 million square meters, and also with a total of almost 10,000 of startups or enterprises or operating or settle on are working in this in these different science parks. And another figure I would like to share is that the companies or startups graduated from the science park. That is, they achieve success and then exit the science park, university science parks. The number for that type of companies is 12,000.
那么从这些年的这个发展，对于大学科学的这个发展的导向来看，其实从00年到19年，整个国家大学科技园，我们对于它的这种导向，就更加强调它的这种高质量发展和内涵发展。
So as you can see along the journey of the University Science Park development in China, the Chinese government continues to emphasize about the high quality development as well as creating the indigenous power.
那么从这30年来，3个这个国家大学科学院的5年规划，包括4个管理办法来看，我们整个的这个体系，从前期更加注重这个企业孵化、人才和这个产学合作，到后面我们更加强调它与地方的这个科技园区和产业的结合，到最后国家层面其实也是纳入到国家的创新体系和高等教育的这个体系里面来看，它的重要性更加的重要。
So actually, in the past 3 decades for the University Science Park development in China, we can categorize or divide the 30 years into 5 5-year plan, and also 4 different measures has been issued as mentioned already about the management measure, different versions. So in the beginning, the University Science Park highlighted on the development of talent and also collaboration between industry and universities, but it moves to a more local context, trying to build up the connection with the local industry and also with local science parks. And in the meanwhile, from the national perspective, the University Science Park has been put into a very high, very high functional position, being the power or being the source for innovation and being the source for startups.
那么从这些大学科学园它的建设和管理运营的模式来看，其实也是存在多种形态的。建设模式来看，主要是4种，一个是一校一园，一个是一校多园，多校一园，包括校府共建。
So for the operation, management, and construction mode of this university science parks, there are several. One is you can go through the slides about one university, one park, one university, more parks, and more universities, one parks, and even more universities and one parks.
那么一校一园的形式就是一个大学科学园，就是一个大学它来建设自己的大学科学园，这里面就会更加的便于管理，包括它的这个产业定位和企业服务上会更加的专注。
So in the first category, in the first mode of operation and management, that is one university, one park, the university establishes its own science park, which means more dedicated work and input or contribution from the university to the industry development or to the startup cultivation of the science park.
那么还有一种形式就是一校多园，这里面还包括2种情况，一种就是在一个城市里边一个大学科学园，它可能分布在不同的这个区域，然后另外一种情况就是一个学校它可能在不同的城市里边会建就是对外建很多大学科学园这个分园。
So the next pattern is actually one university, more parks. That means a single university build several parks or several campuses in different regions or different district of the same city, or even one single university develop the parks and headquarters and branches in different cities.
那么多校一园这种形式呢，很多是几个大学，他们是在同一个地方，就是几个大学共用一块地方来做这个综合性的这个大学科学，像河南的大学科学院，包括新疆的大学科学院都有这种形式。
And the third pattern is more universities and one park. That means to collect the power or to create a synergy of different universities and to combine the strength of several universities together and to create a science park in the same physical space. Give you some example. Two examples on the slide. One is one is the National University Science Park of Henan Province, which is a co-building project. Another one is the Xinjiang National Science and Technology Park.
那么最后一种就是这个校府构建，这里面地方政府更多的参与到大学科学园的这个建设里面，有多所大学，包括地方政府来共同推动一个综合性的多元化的大学科学园的建设。
So the next pattern is called more universities, one park, plus the input from the local government. In this kind of pattern, the local governments get really actively involved in the science park development. Several universities combining their strengths together with the support from local government to develop a comprehensive university science park.
那么除了这个建设这个模式的多元之外，就是这个大学科学的管理运营模式其实也是非常的多元。这里面包括有一些是高校来主导运营的，有一些是由地方政府来主导运营的，像深圳的虚拟大学科学园就是这种。那么更多的其实是有这种市场化的这个专业的团队来做这个市场化运营的。
So about these four types of patterns are the construction or the nature of different university science parks in China. In terms of the management and operation, there are also different modes. I give you several popular ones. For example, the university science park managed and operated by the university itself, or managed or operated by the local government. And the example of the virtual university in Shenzhen municipality is actually under the governance of the local government. So, and also currently speaking, there are many market-oriented professional management team in charge of the University Science Park daily activities and operations.
那么这些大学科技园其实也呈现出来一些特点。目前的大学科技园更多的是依托像985啊、211这些科研实力比较强的大学来建设的，并且理工科的大学科技园其实是主力军。
And also some characteristics of university science parks in China. Most of these science parks are sponsored or initiated by renowned or first-class universities in China who have strong powers and resources. I here give you two projects in China. This is really China-specific. It might be a little bit hard to understand. One of the there are two groups of university in China. One is called 985. That is some program created in the year 1998. So focusing on developing a batch of universities in China in the field of science and technology and engineering. Another one is also called, another concept of the university is a group of called 211. That is another group of university sponsored by the Chinese government to create their own specialties. So these two groups of universities represent the top universities in China. So most of the university science parks created by universities in the field of science and technology and engineering.
那么除了这种主流的这个大学科学园之外，其实像围绕着农业啊、林业啊、财经、体育类这些比较特色的这种学科，其实也出现了非常多的特色大学科学园。他们围绕这些领域也做了非常多的这种服务啊，包括企业孵化的工作。
Beyond those, university science parks that has been created by renowned or first-class universities. Those are mostly comprehensive university science parks. There are also specialized university science parks. They target on a specific industry or specific economic sector. For example, universities for agriculture, for forestry, finance, sports, marine sciences establish their own university science parks with the local or with the strength by utilizing the strength of that university.
那么第二部分还是给大家介绍一下整个国家大学科技园的这个发展的成效。那么30年这个以来，我们觉得大学科学园的成效其实可以主要从4个方面来总结，主要是围绕着这个成果转化，然后围绕着这个高水平的创新创业，围绕着高效的学科和人才培养，包括地方的区域经济和产业发展这几个角度。
So next, I would like to introduce you about the achievements of University Science Park development in China. So actually, the achievements can also be put into 4 different categories. The first one is the transfer and transformation of science and technology achievements, assets from the university or research institute. The second is to promote the high quality innovation development and entrepreneurship. And the third is to cultivate talents, innovative talents or innovation related talents. And then the next one is the final achievement is about boosting the local economy and local development.
那我们觉得第一个非常重要的成效还是围绕着这个推动高效的科技成果转化，因为大学科技园本身是一头，它就连接着高效的技术成果，一头连接的企业市场主体，它本身在推动技术转移和成果转化方面就非常有先天的优势，其实成为了学校成果转化非常重要的这个平台和通道。
So the first one is actually effectively promote the transfer and transformation of science and technology results from universities and from those higher education bodies. Because university has its unique advantages, being the connection between science and technology resources that is from the university, originated from the universities, and also the market, enterprises, or the end user for this science and technology resources or know-hows or knowledges. So University Science Park plays a quite important role in tech transfer and industrialization, and also the industrial university research collaboration. It is also an important platform for related activities and reform.
那么很多大学科学园它就出台了专门的科技成果转化的这个制作文件，包括成立的专业的技术转移中心，然后包括吸引非常多的技术转移专业的这个服务机构来共同推动成果转化这件事情。那么在成果转化的这个方式上，包括技术的交易，包括技术的这个授权，包括科研人员创业这种多种的形态。
So different universities actually published or issued documentations or regulations or mechanisms to support or to strengthen the transformation and transfer of science and technology achievements. And also many universities set up transformation technology transfer centers to attract the service bodies relating to technology transfer to settle in that University Science Park. Altogether, these strengths and altogether these players or these elements collaborate and promote the technology transfer. And in terms of the technology utilization or technology transformation, I can put them into different categories. For example, like technology licensing, technology transfer as mentioned, and technology based science and technology based innovation.
那么这里面像浙江大学科技园，它就是出台了专门的科技成果转化的管理办法，来激发高校人员这个科研人员的这个创业的活力。另外，它也联合浙大的技术转移中心、浙大工研院成立了技术转移的这个平台，包括向企业来开放学校的这种科研的仪器设备，来提供这个技术转移的服务，然后形成了一些比较好的技术转移的服务体系。
So you can see on the slides, I give you the example of Zhejiang University National Science Park. The Science Park do really promote or strengthen the role of itself to promote the science and technology transformation and related collaboration between the tripartites. So the university has issued a method on promoting the transformation of scientific and technological achievements and other related documentation to encourage the faculty to take initiative. And also it opens up the science and technology facilities and assets of the university and to share with the public for the public utilization. And in the meanwhile, it also provides consultancies to different bodies in terms of transformation and commercialization, funding and financing.
那比较有名的做法还是西南交通大学他们的植入科技成果混合所有制改革，已经成为我们国家科技成果转化的这个小岗村试验。其实它更多的是以明确科技成果的这个权属改革为突破口，来促进成果转化。
So another example for the reform or for the bravery move of the universities in developing the science park, in promoting science and technology transformation is from the Xinan Jiaotong University. It conducted a trial or a pilot program called Mixed Ownership of Science and Technology Transfer and Transformation, letting the faculties or the team to share part of the to hold part of the ownership of the project or of the science and technology transformation results. So it is the first in China, and it is really a pioneer work to practice this kind of mixed ownership of science and technology achievement and allow the research team, as mentioned again, to share the ownership.
那么他们的具体做法呢是首先把学校的这个专利的这个所有权先转让到大学科学园，然后大学科学园跟这个成果的发明人他们来共同的来申请这个专利的这个所有权，就是共享这个所有权。那么呢，最后的时候，两方在围绕着这个成果转化作价入股的时候来共享作价入股的收益。
So to be to be specific in the university, so the patent will be transferred from university to science parks, and in the science park, on the platform of science park, the government or the public sector or the university will discuss with the research team about the valuation and about the ownership mainly about the ownership of that patent or of that asset, and then put into the market mechanism to have the valuation and to create a market to create a shareholding mechanisms and to have the distribution to different parties. So for example, the universities can get how many percentage, and the research team can own how many percentage of the valuation, revenue and profits.
那么他们这种做法其实也是很大力度上激发了这个高校和科研院所的这个创业的这个积极性。那么到2019年底的时候，其实西南交大已经有205项的这个植入科技成果的知识产权做了这个确权分割，那么也成立了24家的这个创业企业，整个的知识产权作价入股的总价都已经超过了1个亿。
So this is a very successful trial or reform by the local university science park. And actually, I should say they have achieved a great success with altogether, currently speaking, 205 projects or team projects has been conducted this kind of ownership separation or distribution. Which are from 24 different enterprises with a total valuation of over 100 million RMB.
那么其实在全国也形成了很大的这个影响，很多省份都在效仿这个西南交大的这种改革的试验，在全省去推广这样的一个改革的做法。
It has been very successful. It has been spread out to the national scale. Many universities, many other universities, like university science parks from different localities, provinces, and municipalities, started to learn or to replicate this successful experience.
那么第二个成效，我们觉得这个大学科技园作为这个创业孵化是它很重要的一个功能。其实它在这个方面也孵化出了非常多的这个优质的创业企业。
And the second contribution from the science park is the incubation of a batch of high quality enterprises.
那么大学科技园，因为它本身就是属于背靠大学，有非常多的这个高科技的知识密集的这种智力资源，所以它的科研人员啊、大学生的这个非常的集聚。另一方面，它又靠近学校这样的一个地域，本身就在吸引校友资源啊、吸引这个年轻人的创业上非常的有优势。
I should say University Science Park has its very unique advantages because it is sponsored by the university. It can enjoy every resources from the university. They can enjoy knowledge-intensive resources, talent resources, including both the faculties, the teachers, research teams, and also the students. So, and in the meanwhile, the University Science Park is a gathering for young spirit.
那么从2019年的数据来看，大学科技园总共吸引了这个高校师生的创业，其实超过了5000家。这5000家其实已经超过了整个大学科技园在服企业的一半。
So as of the end of 2019, the statistics shows that altogether over 5,000 startups created by faculties and students from different universities. So that means so 5,000 actually represents 50% of the companies from the university science parks.
那么这里边比较典型的，像上海交通大学科技园孵化的这个饿了么这一家企业，它其实现在已经成为中国最大的这个餐饮的 O2O 平台。在2017年的这个独角兽企业里边，估值也是超过了55亿美金。
Shanghai, here is very renowned or distinguished example from Shanghai Jiaotong University Science Park. And the project is an application, is mobile application for food delivery, food takeaway delivery. And it is an O2O platforms for in the food delivery industry. And currently speaking, the valuation of that application of that project is $5.5 billion US.
那么东北大学科技园它最早是91年的时候有东北大学的这个教授来创立这个东软集团，其实96年的时候已经成为中国第一家的这个上市的软件企业。08年的时候就已经实现了整体上市，其实已经成为我们在这个软件领域里边的一个比较大的一个解决方案服务商。
Another example is the NEU Soft, which is incubated in the science park of Northeastern University. And also NewSoft is the first ever software company listed on the stock exchange and provide a very comprehensive set portfolio of software solutions.
那么第三个方面的成效，我们还是觉得还是大学科技园在促进高校的这种学科的建设和人才的培养上面有非常多的反促进和反哺作用。
And then I should say that the University Science Park can actually feed back to the university by developing the disciplinary and talents.
那么因为那个大学科技园里面本身都会有很多跟学科相近的一些企业集聚，所以里面集聚了大量的这种实验室呀、中试基地呀，包括实习实区基地，能够给在校的学生提供非常多的这种实训平台。
So University Science Park is a cluster or is a gathering of many enterprises or companies in the similar field of the university. So these enterprises joining the University Science Park to build innovation centers, entrepreneurship, and internship training bases, or even research labs to give more opportunities and resources for the students to explore.
特别是这些年双创战略的提出，很多大学科技园开始在围绕着这个大学生，包括创业企业的这种创业教育、创业培训，组织了非常多的这种创业训练营和创业孵化营这样的一些专业的培训工作。
And especially during these years, China has initiated a national campaign called Mass Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So many universities, University Science Park leverage these very special and unique resources to organize different training sessions for students and to organize resources for students to build up their capacity in science and technology innovation.
像北大科技园他们组织的这个创业训练营和孵化营，主要是会请一些行业里边的这个重要的企业家，然后知名的校友，给这些创业企业来提供这种市场呀，包括这个经营管理， 然后这一方面的一些专业的导师培训。
So give you an example about the Peking University Science Park. With the support of the two bodies under the Science Park, one is the Entrepreneur Training Camp, another one is the Startup the Future Global Entrepreneurship Competition. Peking University Science Park has invited renowned enterprises and its alumni to deliver training sessions in the fields of marketing, operation, and management.
像湖南大学科举他们主要是围绕着车辆工程这种工科的这种学科的这个优化，就是结合这个大学生在这个里边的实习实训，能够发现他们整个的在人才培养包括学科建设方面的一些问题，能够去更有针对性的去优化自己的这种学科布局和教育的这个课程的体系设计。
Another example is Hunan University National Science Park. So relying on the strengths from the vehicle engineering discipline, Hunan University Science Park attracted enterprises to created by alumni. So in this way, the university can gather a lot of feedbacks and information from the science park to understand the problems or the shortbacks in disciplinary development or talent education, and then further optimize or adjust the teaching context or the teaching structures, and then to further enhance the disciplinary development.
那么最后一个方面的成效，其实我们还是觉得大学科技园在带动区域的经济和产业发展方面，其实起到了非常重要的这个源头引领作用。
And then I would like to move to another highlight of the achievement from University Science Park. It's actually the University Science Park promotes regional economic and industrial development.
那么从大学科学院整个的分布也能看出来，现在的115家国家大学科学院，有90家都位于我们现在整个的高新区的这个范围之内。所以基本上很多大学它都形成了从校区到这个科技园区，再到这个地方的这个高新区的这样的一个3区融合的这个联动发展的这样的一个格局。
So distribution of University Science Park from the geological physical space perspective, we can realize 90 out of the total of 115 national university science parks are in the high-tech zones, local high-tech zones. So they kind of like create a synergy or create a linkage between university, science park, and local high-tech zone.
那么像这里面的像华工科技大学大学科卷，它们是基本上是催生了这个武汉东吴刚区它的智能制造产业基础。电子科大科卷，它其实是催生了这个整个东吴刚区电子信息产业的发展。
So give you several examples. The first one is Huazhong University of Science and Technology Science Park, HUST Science Park. The science park set the basis or foundation for Wuhan is like high technology development zone specialized in intelligent manufacturing. And another one is located in Sichuan province of China. The University of Electronics Science and Technology of China. The UESTC Science Park built a park or cluster for emerging industries, especially like integrated circuits.
那么从华中科技大学科技园这个典型案例来剖析来做一个详细的介绍。那么其实华科它的整个的国家级的重点学科其实是集中在这个机械工程啊、光学工程啊、动力和电气这样的一些领域。那么它其实大学科技园的特色产业也是聚焦在这个方向的。
So give you a more close look of the HUST Science Park. It's specialized in because the university itself has strong advantages in several different disciplines or science fields. For example, like optoelectronics, advanced manufacturing, software, and new material. Surrounding these strong areas of the university, the science park has developed a cluster for these industries.
那么其实通过这个成果转化呀，包括科研人员的创业，大学科技园其实已经培育出了非常多的激光产业领域的这种排头兵的企业，像华工科技啊、华中数控啊、天宇信息啊这样一些高科技企业，在全国都是非常有影响力的。
So relying on the strengths and resources of the university and science park, many high-tech companies or has been created or has been promoted, especially in the fields of laser. Give you several names of those high-tech enterprises like Huagong Tech, Co-Limited, Huazhong, numerical control, and Tianyu information industry, etc. So they are also the leader in each of their area.
那么这些企业其实也是牵头成立了非常多的这个行业联盟，像国家级的激光产业的联盟，然后数控系统的联盟，包括光谷的这个 VR 产业联盟，然后通过它这个行业企业的这个龙头作用来促进整个产业集群的上中下企业的联动发展。
So all these renowned enterprises or strong enterprises work together to form different industrial alliances. Here I give you 3 examples. Like for example, industrial alliances for laser processing and for advanced numerical control system, and also for like a VR and AR industry or related businesses. So with the by under the leadership of those high-tech enterprises, the industrial alliances actually collected the strengths of the industry of this industry and connect the upper stream, mid stream, and lower stream of that industry.
基于这样的一些发展成效，其实它也获得了非常多的国家级的这个产业基地的牌子，包括智能制造的产业化基地、激光产业化基地这样的一些系列的这个牌子。其实它的这个发展经验，其实真正的践行了一个说法，就是通过一个学科，然后来催生一批企业，带动了一个地方的这个产业集群的发展，其实成为大学科技园跟地方的这个产业经济融合非常好的一个实践经验。
Based on the achievements of the industrial lines and the enterprises and high science parks, so a group of high-tech demonstration base has been created in the national perspective. They are the demonstration bases for related clusters and industries. The University Science Park has formulated a secret recipe to combine the university with the local, to integrate the university with the local government or with the local economy or development. By first of all, tap the potential of university strengths and knowledge and asset, and then build enterprises on the basis of a group of excellent enterprises. A industry cluster can be created in that locality.
那么分析了前面的一些基本情况和成效之外，然后我们通过这些年对大学科技园这个研究，我们发现发展的比较好的大学科技园，其实都在于处理好了5个关系。这个5个关系我们总结来就是处理好了大学科技园跟依托大学的关系、跟运营团队的关系、跟入驻企业的关系，包括跟区域发展和地方政府这几个角度的关系。
So analyzing the analyzing the previous 2 sections, I introduced you about the overall the overview of University Science Park in China, and also the achievement made by the University Science Park in China along the way. We have accumulated or summarized several experiences. The most critical experience we've gained through this journey is to have the University Science Park develop fine relationship and interaction with 5 different aspects. The first one is Science Park and University, and second, Science Park and startup companies, third, Science Park and operation teams, fourth, Science Park and regional economy, and fifth, Science Park and local government.
那我们觉得其实最核心和最首位的还是说大学科技园要处理好跟所依托大学的这样的一个关系。首先要得到学校领导的这样的一个高速重视，并且能够跟大学的其他的这个科研的管理部门形成比较顺畅的这种管理机制，才能做好大学科技园这项工作。
So I think the core is to build the strong connection or tie between university science parks and university itself. So the science park should attract great attention from the university management team, the leaders or the president. And then also we should build a mechanism or the bridge between university and science park, and to create this kind of management mechanism by connecting the university science park and the in-house science and technology team of the university.
那么在顶层的这个管理上，其实很多学校都会把大学科学院纳入到学校的这个战略的这个规划体系中去统筹考虑。那么学校也会派整个的分管的副校长来做整个大学科学院的这个统筹和管理的工作，领导人员的这个高配来支持工作。
In terms of top level design, we understand that the university science parks has created, we need to create this kind of interaction or dynamism between the research team and transformation offices within the university. And also the university and the science park has become a crucial part of the university, and the university designates its vice president to take full control or to take the full management of the science park.
那么在具体的这个工作层面，有几个也还是比较重要的工作。第一个就是要理顺这个高校内部的这个科研成果转化跟大学科学院的关系。像海工大，它就是构建了这样的一个大科研的这个体系，把学校的这个科研处的这样的一个科研管理的职能跟大学科学院的这个成果转化的这个职能作为一个统筹，能更好的整合学校这块的一个职能和工作。
So here is I believe under this framework there are several major points I should highlight about the interaction between science parks and the university itself. For example, the Harbin Institute of Technology puts the university science park into the research department under the governance of the vice president, as mentioned again, and set an assessment and management system different from enterprise class entities, and to have the university and to have the smooth communication between universities and science parks.
第二个就是很多学校会把技术转移中心这样的一个工作放到大学科学园，然后大学科学园会定期来组织这个学校的技术转移成果的这种梳理、跟踪、监测，去挖掘可以转化的成果。
And the second is I think practices here. The second practice here is to have the to set up the technology transfer center in the university science park as a body to update with the trends or with the work of the research team from the university, and to collect technical informations and the latest news in science and technology, and also visit researchers and promote technology industrialization.
那么第三个就是很多学校它都会有很明确的关于促进成果转化的这种制度文件，去明确整个的成果转化的这种管理的流程，然后对于人员的激励的这种比例，能够形成制度化的文件，去让科研人员更加的规范的，然后调动他们的这个成果转化的积极性。
And the third is the third practice is also followed by many universities science park, by many universities, is to create criteria, standards, regulations, and to trying to formulate a pattern for university science park development. Some specific content under this standard framework are, for example, creating a standard procedure for technology transfer, and create some standard incentives for talents. The talents can get how much percentage from the achievement, from the revenue, etc.
像刚才我们提到的这个西南交通大学，它的这个西南交大9条，其实就是它的这个底层的这个制度文件，包括它的职务成果转化的这个改革，刚才我们提到的。另外就是，其实它也还是成立了一个自己的这个科技评价中心，来去做它的成果转化的这种评估，然后估价，为它的转化提供很好的这种制度和工作体系。
The example I've quoted in the previous slides is the mixed ownership from Southwest Jiao Tong University. The University Science Park actually issued 9 articles or 9 different spirits to set as an underlying support or institutional support for the science and technology transfer and transformation from that university. And in the meanwhile, the University Science Park has created a Science and Technology Evaluation Center to provide rating and valuation services to different projects and startups.
那么第二个关系，我们觉得还是要处理好大学科技园与它的这个在服的这个创业企业的关系。大学科技园本身它就是一个独立的这个法人机构，还是要考虑自身的这个盈利能力和未来的可持续发展能力。
And the second is to consider about the science park and startup within the science park and to trying to create a synergy between these two and create harmony between these two. Because we know finally the startup and science park themselves should achieve sustainable development with strong profitability.
那么发展到现在，其实我们国家的大学科技园已经从最初通过这个房租收入来维持发展，到现在开始向提供这个服务体系，然后提供这种股权投资这种增值服务来获得自己的这种营业收入。
Previously, in the early stage of the University Science Park development in China, the major income or the major revenue of the science park was from tenants or was from the rental. So, but nowadays it has changed its position or strategy by creating the service, making itself to and collaborate with the startups by providing many services and or even put some investments for equity.
那么到19年底的时候，其实115家国家大学科技园整个的孵化基金总额已经超过15亿元，几乎所有的大学科技园都会有自己设立的基金，或者是与这个投资公司来合作，来为企业提供这个投资基金的这个服务。
So by the end of 2019, I believe for these 115 university science parks in China, almost all of them has set up incubation funds to inject financial support to these university science park startups. And the incubation fund by the end of 2019 has accumulated to over 1.5 billion RMB. And this incubation fund, is created jointly by the university and investment companies.
那么像这几种政治服务里边，这个基金的直接投资，像启迪，它通过这个对于在服企的这个投资，已经参股的这个上市和非上市企业已经达到了800多家，管理的总资产已经超过了将近2个亿。
So in this on the right bottom, you can see the value-added services for science parks in the mature stage. Through direct funding, I give you the example of TAS Holding. TAS Holding is actually the management company of Tsinghua Science Park, and currently speaking, TAS Holding controls or participates more than 800 listed and non-listed companies with a total asset under management of nearly 200 billion RMB.
那么除了基金之外，其实还有很多这个通过大学科技园通过提供这个办公场所，然后提供服务来获取创业企业这个股权这种形式。那么还有一些是通过给创业企业提供这个技术平台的这种技术服务来获取这种服务收入这种多种形式。
So besides the interaction between the science park and startups will not stop with one direct funding. There are multiple ways for them to collaborate. For example, the science parks provide services and physical working spaces for universities and to get a part of to startups to get part of the equity, or the science parks provide technical services or platforms for for startups and to get part of the equity.
那么第三个，我们觉得还是要处理好大学科学园跟运营团队的这样的关系，也需要吸引一批专业化的这个基础这个服务的经理人来做专业服务。
Then I think it's also very critical to analyze or organize the relationship between science parks and operation teams. The university science park need to attract a group of highly professional managers to run the daily management and operation.
像上海理工大学科学园，它其实是有学校跟地方的政府共同出资来建立这个市场化的这个机构来做运营。那么也有一些是由学校的这个资产管理公司，它来全资出资建设大学科学园的这个管理和运营工作。
So there are different types of operation models or operation teams. For example, the University of Shanghai Science and Technology Science Park collect the strength from local government and private capital to be in charge of the operation of that science park. And also we have other science parks which is mainly managed and operated by a management team from the university.
那么像这样的一些市场化运营的机构，基本上其实主要从这个股东会到董事会、监事会，然后经理班子这样的一个比较系统化的这种市场化的管理机制。
So with all these practices and all these structures, a market-oriented operation and management philosophy has been created. And there are very thorough operation management monitoring bodies. For example, as mentioned about the shareholders, about the directors and the board meetings, and also the other different type of the steering committees to guide the operation.
专业的服务团队其实对于大学科学园来说是非常重要的，因为成果转化本身就是一项比较复杂的这个过程，所以它需要这个从业人员又有技术的背景，又有管理的知识，甚至于有一些这种商业的这样的一些判断。所以很多大学科学园它的管理团队都是要有这种投资啊、产业啊、服务这方面的一个综合性的人才队伍来构成。
So as we know, actually, University Science Park and related activity are highly complex and highly professional. So a group of professional or elite are needed to operate the team, to manage to operate the University Science Park. So and also a group of different professionals are needed. For example, they can be from the technology perspective, they have the technical background, or they have management background, or they have very strong business savvy. So so within this rich and complex team, we can create a better operation services or management services to achieve sustainable development for the University Science Park.
那么第四个关系，我们觉得还是要处理好这个大学科学园跟地方的经济发展，也就是说，我们说的其实是教育创新跟地方的这个产业创新之间的关系。
And next up, let's move to the relationship between University Science Park and local economy or local development. Here, it actually can be understood as the educational or education-based innovation and local industry-based innovation.
因为大学科学园它本身是产教协同创新跟产教融合发展的这样的一个载体和基地，它本身就有这种要把学校的这种知识成果，然后给转化应用的这样的一个责任。另一方面呢，它立足于地方，就必然有服务地方经济和产业发展这样的一个公益性存在。
So as the carrier of the university industrial collaboration and integration, university science parks have the responsibility to support universities in the transformation and transfer of science and technology and innovation assets and achievements, and then to build a bridge between the those resources and the demanders, and then also being situated in the local places the University Science Park also has the responsibility to provide related services or to contribute to the local development.
现在很多大学科学园其实已经形成了从前端的这种中创空间到孵化器，然后到加速器，甚至于更大的这样的一个产业园，这样的一个综合性的这个全链条服务体系。
So currently speaking, University Science Park has formulated a very complete service chain or industry chain from makerspace to incubator to accelerator and to industry cluster bodies.
像那个成都电子科技大学就提出要做这个产业科技公园这样的一个园区，聚焦到这个集成电路呀、通信、物联网这样的一些专业领域，然后来打造这种开放融合的、兼具产业创新、社区这样功能的大尺度的这个开放创新园区。
So, for example, the UESTC, as mentioned from Sichuan province, is specialized in electronic information and related disciplines and areas. The University Science Park builds a cluster through industry parks, trying to tap the potential and to play the full advantage of its advantageous disciplines, for example, like integrated circuits, Internet of Things, and ICT industries, and to build an open mechanisms or open platforms, ecosystems for industry innovation.
那么在目标定位上，也是希望能够集聚一批这种科技创业的这个精英，能够入驻一批专业的知名的这个企业，那么最终能够对地方的这种产值啊、税收啊，能够带动这种经济贡献。
So the target of the science park is to collect a group of science and technology innovation experts or elites, and then to cultivate successful industries from those fields, and finally inject strength or blood to the local economy.
那么像北航大学科学园，包括其他很多的大学科学园，它都是依托学校的这个学科优势，能够对地方的这个产业集群的发展，能够提供这种技术平台的支撑，然后高效的这个技术人员的这种辅导，然后帮助地方的这个企业和产业能提升它的技术创新能力。
So many university science parks, for example, University Science Parks of Beihang University, and they have created public technical service capabilities through disciplinary advantages, and they create this kind of industry cluster, and they gave like support to they gave education or technical support to the enterprises and to build their capacity in different fields.
那么最后一个，我们觉得还是要处理好大学科技园跟所在地方政府的这样的一个关系，因为大学科技园本身它是有这种技术的辐射性，然后包括成果的这个溢出性，本身是带有公益性的，所以建设的初期需要地方政府给予比较大的这个支持的力度。
And then it's about the interaction or relationship between the science park, the university science park, and local government. We think strong support and policy we need to create strong public supports and policies. University science parks have strong technology impact, and they also have this kind of like a spillover effect with their science and technology resources, and they have this kind of a talent links or ecosystem. So I should say university science parks are the drivers of high-tech zone and the regional high-tech industry. So they can play also the role as a public service platform to some extent.
那么大学科技园其实启动的初期，像2000年到2001年这10年之间，国家层面对于大学科技园其实主要是从这个税收的政策减免来给予支持的，像这个房产税啊、土地使用税、营业税、增值税这方面的一个减免，是国家层面给它比较大的一个支持。
In the first 10 years of the University Science Park history in China, I see most of these policies or supporting mechanisms from the local and central government are are concentrating on the on land preferential policies or taxation reduction exemption related policies.
那么在地方层面呢，很多地方像珠海啊、河南呀，他们也聚焦大学科学院出台了专项的这个支持政策，主要是围绕大学科学院的一次性的这个资金的支持，包括运营的支持，甚至于在用地，然后用地的这个拨付上能够给予优先的这种倾斜。
So just give you some example about the special supportive policies from the local government to university science parks. For example, in Zhuhai, Henan, and other areas, or other municipalities or provinces in China, the local government gave some grants, gave some subsidies to the science parks, and also to support the operation and maintenance of the science park, and also gave some priority or a privilege in land using.
那么到现在呢，其实对于大学科学院的支持是更加的普惠，包括支持面也更加的广泛。现在所有关于国家关于孵化器啊，包括中长空间的政策，几乎都适用于大学科学院。
So currently speaking, I see the expansion of this support from special or very limited supports fields to a general support. Now, all these policies that is created for makerspace, incubators, and accelerators can also be enjoyed by the university science parks.
那么另外呢，因为大学科学园它的这个职能定位的这种多元化，所以地方关于这个成果转化呀、技术转移机构，包括地方关于这种技术创新平台、创业投资、创业教育培训这一方面的这个专项的支持政策，只要大学科学园符合条件的，都可以享受相应的支持。
And for other policies or for other incentives created by the local government or by different bodies of the public, if the university science park meet the requirement or criteria, they are eligible to enjoy those incentives.
那么在这里面呢，其实深圳虚拟大学科学院是这个地方政府给予支持的一个比较典型的这样的一个代表吧。从99年起，这个市政府其实每年都会给这个管理机构一定的这个专项经费的支持。
A very typical example of that support from local government to science park is Shenzhen Virtual University. It has received strong support and from the government. On a yearly basis, the government will grant a special fund to support the operation and management of that virtual university.
那么对于大学科学园里面引入的一些高校和科研院所，凡是在当地建有研究院的，基本上每一家学校都会给一定的这个专项资金支持，包括用地呀、包括编制方面的一些系统性的支持。
And also for universities or research institute who are contributing to the virtual science park building in Shenzhen municipality, if they establish a physical space in Shenzhen and under the framework of the virtual university, the government will also allocate a special grants to that higher education bodies or research institutes.
那么其实到现在呢，深圳虚拟大学科学院已经集聚了有65家的国内外知名的这个高校院所，有将近50家内地的学校，还有六所这个香港的学校，包括还有10几家这种国外的这个高校院所跟中科院。其实已经在弥补深圳它这个地方的创业资源比较匮乏的这样的一个劣势。
So currently speaking, a very complex or very mature, sophisticated network has been created. Altogether now, the virtual university in Shenzhen attracts over 65 participants, like higher education research institutions or educational institutions. 59 are from domestic China, from mainland China. 6 of them are from Hong Kong, China, and a dozen of them are set up by the overseas educational bodies. So this has actually cleared the shortage for Shenzhen in lacking of science and technology innovation resources.
以上就是我们对于大学科学园的一些发展的经验的一些总结。那么，其实进入下一个发展阶段呢，因为国家也是提出要往高质量，要做这个科技的自立自强，所以高校这样的一个主体，对于我们下一步的创业发展会发挥更加重要的一个作用。
So previously, I just gave you all this analysis, summary, and experience about China in developing University Science Park. And in the next stage, facing the future, China has emphasized the campaign of high quality development. That's a high strategy, economy development strategy for emphasizing on high quality or driven by high quality. So in this way, China also advocates to build its own independent and strong science and technology power or capacity.
那么19年的这个新的管理办法和指导意见也提出了大学科学园新的5个功能定位，就是现在我们说的这个创新资源的集成、成果转化、创业孵化、人才培养和开放协同创新。那下一步大学科学园将围绕这几个会做更大的一些工作的一个设计。
In the documentations issued by the central government in 2019, it has identified 5 major strategic positioning of the University Science Park. They are science and technology power, building science and technology strategy, development, science technology innovation, and collaboration with the industrial chain in local areas.
好，那我今天的分享就到这里，谢谢大家。
So these are all my introductions today. Thank you very much.
So thanks all for your attention. We're gonna have 5 minutes break. After that would be the Q&A session. So please start the break. So welcome back to our session. So anyone who's got any questions, please raise your hands or just unmute yourself directly as you
Hello.
like.
Hello, I'm from Azerbaijan. I have questions. First one is about the page 20. You have submitted that you have 2.5 technologies. What's meaning of that? I don't understand it.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat the question?
Page 20,
Oh, page 20, okay.
yes. You can,
yeah.
you wrote in the left hand down, 2.5 technologies. What's meaning of that?
Oh, it's not 2 point. Okay. Okay, so it's not 2.5 technology. It's actually it is written in Chinese. In English, it's 25,000 of science and technology professionals.
2,500 professional companies or startups, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, mainly, yes, mainly experts and professionals.
Great.
Startups,
And
600 startups.
I understand it. Then about the page 5, whenever we are speaking about the science parks, public support and policies, whatever you mentioned in this page, that is page 21. Sorry, you are going back. 21.
Okay, it's not page 5, it's page 21.
21, yeah.
Okay.
In page 21, it was different because whatever we spoke about in the previous days, it is effectively that's similar with whatever you're writing here. What is changing here? Between, you know, there here is university, I understand about it, but what is the advantage that somebody don't go to the startup park, don't go to the high-tech park, coming to the like this university park?
So you're asking about the difference between special support and general support, because
Yes,
they are quite similar.
They're so similar. I want to understand whenever we are speaking about something like these special public support and policies, what is making people once coming to this side, don't going to the another part?
Okay. 就是有没有对，就是这个政策哪些是关于这个政策，那么从就是咱们的表述上来看的话，其实这些专有的政策和这种一般性的政策或普惠性的政策，实际上是从这个文字的措辞的层面上看不出来特别大的区别。那么有没有说哪些政策是仅适用于部分的园区或部分的大学？
按说这两类是吗？
对，
那个就是那个税收减免政策是国家对于国家大学科举儿就这一类群体的专有的，它只有为了国家大学科举儿才有。然后其他的政策像那个资金啊、土地啊这些的，都是属于地方，比如说地方出了一个，我跟你说全，比如说地方出了一个支持大学科学的政策，它可能就是把这个范围就限定你是大学科学就能享受。但是后面这几年是因为孵化器啊什么的就发展起来了，很多地方不对大学科学出专业的政策，基本上都纳入到它的这个知识体系。
就是说孵化器一起用了。
对对对，因为它有的大学科学，它就本身就是国家的牌子，它有这种身份的交叉了。
Okay. So I should give you some responses on the differences between the support. It's similar from the other supports. We have this kind of a supports or policies issued announced by the central government and also local governments. For example, like what I mentioned about the taxation, those kind of a tax incentives can be only enjoyed by a university science park that has been certified as a national level university science park. So this 115 national university science park can enjoy the tax reduction exemption incentives announced by the central government. And for the other, supports as mentioned in the field of capital investment and land utility, land usage. So those are policies announced by the local governments. So the local governments designates those preferential policies or incentives to university science parks, and saying only university science park can enjoy such type of privilege. And later on, as we know, China has booming. China has a booming environment for incubators and other bodies or platforms for innovation and science and technology. So most of them are managed under the same framework, under the same under one umbrella. So many of these policies or incentives issued to incubators can be shared by the university science parks, or issued to university science park can be enjoyed by incubators. So and also another critical thing is that there are some like functional overlapping between incubators and university science parks. So very fuzzy boundary between these two platforms.
Okay, I think I understand just environment is different, but in general, supported coming from the national and government support. I have one more question. Whenever we are speaking, for example, in page 18, you wrote that at the TUS high-tech TUS Science Park, they paid the 200 billion for this coverage of the investment and the other. How they earn this money? Is it coming from the government? They pay them this money to TUS Park, Science Park, to do this job, or it is coming from the, I don't know, any venture capital pay them? How is it the mechanism coming money to the TUS Park, for example, that they pay for this productive way?
OK，这个问题，这个问题首先我觉得可能没有看太明白。对于这个，我们讲到了这个清华大学科技园的这个管理公司 TUS Holding 这样的一个专业的管理团队或专业的管理公司来说，那么现在在运营或在管理的整体的资产是已经达到了这个多少？2000亿是吗？OK， 已经达到了2000亿人民币的这样的一个金额。那么这个金额，可能我们这位学员理解的是有点问题，是他理解成了这样，可能是相应的资助的金额或投资的金额，是来自是政府啊，或者是园区本身自己募集，还是来自一些这个风险就是风投等等。
其实是他参股的那些企业。
OK， 那我直接跟他说吧。So actually, I just want to clarify the concept here. So the 200 billion RMB under is a value, is the asset value under the management of TUS Holding. So TUS Holding is a major group. It's like a professional, really professional management team of Tsinghua University Science Park. So it manages over 800 companies that are currently in the science park or that has been exited from the science park. So so it's a holding, it's like a group company. It's like TUS Holding Group, and they control different subsidies or branches, subsidiaries and branches with the total asset, management asset of nearly 200 billion. So this is the story.
Sorry, it means that is that meaning that the all capital coming from the holding, that's not coming from government or someone else? That's their own money.
对，
管理的
是不是在问运营资本的问题？
我感觉是，就是他，你比如说他不是参股了，800多家嘛，肯定是这800多家，他的每个企业不是财务报告里边就有总资产那个数嘛，他是说的是这个概念。 就跟政府的它这个关系。
So it has nothing relating to government. It's a totally market-oriented market mechanism for company management or for business management. So this 200 million is calculated based on the financial report or balance or the financial statement of each of these 800 companies. Are you asking about the?
Yes, I understand it. Thank you very much. That was clear.
Okay.
Right now, I understand that they have one holding, and that holding is owner of the university. That's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yes.
Anyone else who's got questions? Just feel free to unmute yourself directly.
Hi, this is from Michelle from Singapore. So just actually on this trust holdings. So but I noticed there you have the government subsidy as well. So how does that apply?
那么我们这位学员是来自新加坡，你提到的这个问题，同样还是清华大学的这样的一个专业的管理机构。那么对于这家控股公司的话，它是否有权去享受政府的相关的资助和补贴？那么又去如何申请？
它这个就是基本上就是北京市或者中关村的关于孵化器大学科技园的政策，它只要符合条件的都可以去申请。它本身的，就刚才我们那些政策里边认定的国家级的认定的奖励呀，然后税收的减免呀，它符合条件就可以去。
So actually, similar to the other university science parks, task holding as the management team of the Tsinghua University Science Park, they are entitled, and task holding is actually entitled with all this incentives and policies. For example, just as what I mentioned, some of these incentives are only open to national level university science parks, or some of the incentives has to set up a threshold or standard or limits for different for a few or for a group of university science parks. So if task holding if task holding actually meets any of these criteria, they can just apply as the other university science parks. So it's the same still as the science park.
Okay. So actually, based on the previous answer to your previous question about the university science parks and high tech parks, you mentioned that the eligibility for example, for tax relief would be dependent on whether they are actually certified by the some body, right? So
yes.
Which body is this, and how is this certification done?
Okay. Yes. 那么刚才提到了，对于一些税收的政策或者是一些特殊的政策、奖励政策的话，那么需要去进行相关的认定或者是评判。那么评判的机构是谁？这个权威的机构是哪个？
它国税的那个认定是政府肯定就是税务局嘛，然后它税务局它可能在报那个之前，它需要找专业的那个叫啥公司应该是，就是那种我不知道名字，反正就是那种财务公司要捋它的那个哪一些可以按照规定能够享受到的那个单子出来，他会找专业
有点审计的意思是吧？
有一点吧，或者审计或者财务公司来给他做，然后他会报到那个税务部门，税务部门来看税务法，然后再享受这样的一个过程。
I think, and it is also really depending on what type of incentives you are applying for. For example, like the tax reduction or tax incentives, and the whole taxation operation of the country is under the tax bureau. So tax bureau is the authority to evaluate or to certify whether whether a company or whether a science park is eligible to receive and related reduction or exemption. And the company or the science parks themselves can actually find some service bodies like finance and accounting service bodies or third-party auditing law firms to help them to organize, analyze their book, their financial statement, and their financial details, and then to present all these materials to the tax bureau for further review.
Anyone else who's got questions, please just speak up and unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Coming back again. So are there any criteria for to meet to be a university science park or a high-tech incubation park?
那么对于这个还是标准的方面来说，那么对于这个学校的大学园区或大学的科技园，或者是高科技的这种孵化园区，那么有没有什么特定的标准？
哦，有，就是我刚才那一样，1、2，刚才有一样。
For example, do they need to like show a history of accomplishments or research?
4年的管理办法，每一年的管理办法都会对大学科者你的孵化面积，然后要在职企业达到多少家，然后里面的知识产权，甚至于学校的创业达到多少家，会有定量这个标准，你达到这个标准之后才能去申请科权，然后两部委去做审核和认定。
You can refer to slides number 5 on page 第5页是吗？ On page number 5. Okay, so it actually has been identified or clarified by these measurement measures. But I didn't have all these details here. I would like to give you the explanation about the criteria to be certified as a university science park. First of all, it has to meet the requirement of the physical areas. The science park should be up to a certain physical size up to a certain size to be able to apply for the University Science Park this title. And then about the companies or startups incubated or in these science parks. So it has to be up to a certain number or quantity of startups from those incubation platforms. And also for University Science Park particularly, they also set up a criteria for the percentage of university or for the percentage of startups created by university faculties and students. So among all these startups in that University Science Park, how many percent are created or initiated by faculties and students? And also another criteria is about the patent and invention. All these science and technology knowledges or know-hows owned by the science park. So if they are up to this, if they are up to these different criteria, they are able to apply for the title of University Science Park, and all these materials will be submitted to the Ministry of Science and Technology as well as the Ministry of Education for further review and maybe finally for the final certification. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that clarification. And usually from your experience, how many years do they actually need before they can actually get this certification?
那通过我们的经验来说的话，对一个学校的园区的话，那么多少年，大概需要多长时间，他们能够拿下这个牌子？
国家大学分的要求是至少你要运营2年以上，2年以上才可以。但是之前认定的那些，还不知道这个，反正可能就是至少得2、3年吧。它有一个基础的，就是整个的规范呀，然后企业填充进去，有一个基础的形态出来。
Okay. Generally speaking, it takes like 2 to 3 years for a university to form into shape, actually, to have to create a space and to have the startups coming in and to generate some results. So it normally take 2 to 3 years for a university to be well prepared for the next step application as a national level university science park.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, okay, I got a question here is from Mickey, and he has some problem with the voice, so we can answer his question here. 看一下你的微信，So next we are going to answer Mickey's question first.
OK， 那么这个问题呢是。那么我们的这个问题是主要关注于园区，那么园区的规模一般是多大？那么在园区内一般是什么样的建筑的主体？比如说这个建筑的比如说一些功能区等等，比如说像生产，还是像一些这个实验性的，或者是这种就是有点类似于试验区形式的这样的一些工厂，或者是一些这个制造的实验室，或者是一些开放性的共享的空间，或者是一些办公空间。那么接下来我还想问到的这个问题是，中国是否存在这种伙伴关系来去共建大学科技园区？比如说与一个民营公司建这种大学园区，从而实现 PPP， 也就是公私合营的这样的一些合作模式。那么如果是存在这种合作模式的话，那么这些园区的发展经验或者是发展轨迹是什么样的？或者是说我们看到所有的大学园区的发展成本基本上是一个什么样的情况？那么这些成本中有多少比例是由政府来去负担？
好，我问题有点多，我先说啊。第一个就是说，它那个面积上，国家大学科学园是要求不少于1.5万平的这样的一个规模，这是一个底线。但是实际运营中呢，很多大学科技园的大小不一，有的可能就是几栋楼这样的形态，它可能就是以办公空间为主。但是有的大学科技园就会比较大，它可能就是有这样的这种楼宇的形态，然后它还有加速器，加速器里边就可能会有这种中式厂房，这样这就是跟这个大学科技园的规模是有关系的。然后另外就是这个是跟规模，另外其实也跟这个大学科学园的性质有关。比如说我们前面带的有的是理工性的，它可能能够有厂房这块，但有一些是像财经啊、金融呀，它可能是偏这种服务业和服务性质的，它就基本上是以这种楼宇为主了。这是它前面几个问题。最后一个，它是说跟国外的这种合作关系是
不是国外的合作关系，是跟私营部门，对，有没有这种公私合营的大学园区？
我觉得现在很多应该都是这样的吧。就是刚才我记得我这里边案例里边有一个上海理工大学科学园的，它就是有一些是政府，就是学校出资，再加上一些民营资本介入，甚至还有一些就是地方政府的资金也可以介入，这种形态是有的。
最后一个问题是说这个大学园区的运营成本，有多少？比如说它是怎么样一个成本情况，以及政府负担的比例？
这个好像没有明确的。成本这块呢，一个是有一些大学科学园，它可能就是用的自己的，就是学校的那个学校里边的一些楼宇的，就是它是滑坡用地，然后自建的，它可能它的成本主要集中在一些物业呀、水电啊这种日常的运行的成本为主的。然后有一些可能是它要是建大规模的产业园，就是那种大规模的加速器的那种，可能有一些土地啊、建设这种资产性的成本。就是这个可能每个大学科学园的差别还挺大的。
So first of all, thank you for the question. Relating to the several questions, I would like to respond one by one. Okay. So the first one is about the size, how big the university science park can be, and also the building in this science park, like production, pilot plan, fabrication, or workspace or office space. So from the national level or from the national documents, there is one clear requirement or criteria saying that a university science park should be above this should be of the size above 15是1500
1.5嘛
哦
，15000
平方米还是平方千米
平方米。
？Okay. 100 is supposed to be above the size of 15,000 square meters. So that is from the measurement from the government documents. But however, the reality really varied for different university science parks. Some of science parks is just the composition of some buildings, like of very ordinary buildings, mainly used as office space, as you mentioned about workspace and office space. And some universities created a very large scale, our very large scale university science parks. It's like a complex. It's like a science park already. Like what I meant, we mentioned about the high-tech zone. It has different functionalities. And so based on these functionalities, different buildings are created or different buildings are planned. So this is about because this is based on the size on the area of the science park itself. So, but also I think it also relies heavily on the nature or on the functionality, as mentioned previously, on the functionality of the university science park. For example, just like what I mentioned, there are some comprehensive science parks which is really large in scale, so and very complex in functionality. So within that science park, there will be like a very rich elements like production centers, like pilot plants, like other buildings for offices, for accelerators, but however, there are different types of university science parks as mentioned in the early stage. For example, some university for finance or economy or economics, they set up a university science park featured by the function of providing some financial innovation or related innovation. So the buildings for that type of science park is really limited. And most of the space are used as office space and commercial and meeting areas. So this is the first question about the size, about the building and functionality of the science park in universities. And the second question is about the public-private partnership for the university science park. So I think there are many examples in China to practice private and public partnership in like just co-building a university science park. Just give you example what I quoted already, what I mentioned already in the in my presentation is the science park from the University of Shanghai of Science and Technology. That university science park has utilized the strength or the contribution from both the university and private capitals and local government support. So they can have some sources of the public private sectors. So like financial support from the private sectors. That has already become a very popular phenomenon in university science park building in China, actually. And then let's move to the last question about the cost for a university science park and also whether they are 100% covered by the government. The answer is of course not 100% by the government. The cost, to be specific or to put into to have a breakdown look about the cost of the university science park. So the cost has several aspects. If the school, if the science park use the buildings of the university, existing building, I mean. So there is free of rental and there is a free of construction of building, building the physical space again from all over again, from the scratch. There is no need. So that part of money is saved. So in that way, the University Science Park is only paying for the daily operation or paying for the utility like gas, water, and heating, and etc. But however, there will be, like I mentioned, large-scale science parks or science parks need to create their own building and their own physical space. That is another amount of the cost, but mainly the physical costs, as mentioned, are this kind of a daily operation and construction, but definitely not covered by the government. I'm not sure this answers the question.
All right, thanks very much for the last question. I've figured out that the Beta from Iran has raised up his or her hand. Would you please unmute yourself and raise your question?
Okay, thank you very much, Xie, for your impressive presentation. I have a question about the policies. Actually, you are explaining the relationship between the University Science Park and governments and startups and VCs or other parts of the startup ecosystem. I have a very specific question. Can we access to some policies from the policy release from the University Science Park or other science park that the policies which show and support the relationship between the park and startup, relationship between the park and the governments. Could you please give us some exact example and named some of the special policies about the university science parks, and also give us guidance to how we can access and study more about these policies in China. Thank you so much.
那么我们这位问题是来自伊朗的一位学员的问题，那么提到了主要是对于政策的解读或者是政策的一些案例。因为在提到了就是大学园区与各个关键的接口的一些联动，比如说大学园区与政府之间的这种关系捋顺，以及大学园区与在富企业的这种关系的一个捋顺。那么实际上这是都关乎于一些创新创业的生态建设。那么我问的这个问题就是关于这种生态建设的相关的文件，针对于比如说像在大学的科技园区里面来去加强园区和政府之间的互动和支持，那么以及加强园区和创新企业和在富企业的这种相关的互动和支持，那么有没有相关的一些具体的政策和文件落实？那么这些政策可否与我们分享？比如说相关的政策的名称，或者是政策的一些细节，这样的话也方便我们去了解更多，就是中国在创新生态以及各个元素要素之间关系去打造的这样的一些这个成功的点。
刚才说促进这几个
就刚说
之间关系的
对
政策
五个关系，然后就是他觉得这是一个生态，你在做生态各个参与方的一些调动，或者是就是这种建设，那么的政策在哪里？就是具体的。
就是如果说政策的话，我觉得这是有两个维度的，一个是说，学校自己出的政策，就是我们说的学校促进这个成果转换呀，促进科研人员创业这方面的政策，它可能主要涉及到一些激励机制，就是对于科研人员转化，你比如说 奖励的额度给它70%或90%这样的一个额度的一个限制上是为主的。然后另外的话就是地方政府的这个角度的政策，但是地方政府政策呢，它几乎不会是说，就是很显性的说是要促进你和谁的关系这个角度，但是它的这个政策的角度里边会涉及到你比如说对于大学科学园里边的这个企业，对吧？它这个企业它做创新了，或者是跟这个学校合作了，这种科研项目的这种支持呀，或者什么，它是从这个维度去小切口去撬动的，是这样的一个角度。另外，比如说大学科学园做这个创业培训，它里边可能也涉及到跟学校的这种学院的这种联动吧。你在这块的活动上，跟地方政府有政策，也可以给你一些活动支持啊，什么，它是从这个角度去切入的。
那个有些什么文件名称可以跟他们分享一下吗？可以让记者发给他。
也
最
可以
后是吧？
可以，我们可以有一些政策的清单啊，或者是名录啊，可以借鉴。
对，
因为这个确实也比较多。
对，是的，就跟他说一下大类。
对。
So first of all, thank you for the question. In terms of the list of the policies, I will have our colleagues to send it to you after the session, okay? And I just would like to give you some very general idea about those policies. So as mentioned again, those policies can be from the university themselves or from the for universities is mainly incentive policies or measures, or if it can all or they can be from the local governments to promote the the interaction or the collaboration between different parties. But generally speaking, there will be no specific documents like titled as interaction between university and government. So or university science park and government. So this kind of like the players in this ecosystem will not be identified in the title. So most of the time it's like very general documentation or policy. So within that, there will be some content highlighting or encouraging the interaction or the mutual exchange between different parties. For example, for example, encouraging the universities and enterprises to collaborate and to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. And or maybe the others some other part of those documents may highlight on the participation or collaboration between university and university science parks to organize all types of competitions and activities just to create some momentum and to create some dynamism here. And this and another type of policies actually should be incentives or measures by the school themselves, by the university themselves, to support the transfer and transformation of science and technology achievement within that university. So they have the 100% control to issue the measures. So for example, they can grant the research team with 70%, 90%, or like some percent of the revenues or profits generated from the science park. It's just like to encourage the team, the faculty, the experts, or the researchers to take the initiative.
All right, thanks, sir, for your question. Anyone else who wants to ask questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. If there is no more questions, can we? We'll just move on to the group photo session. So guys, could you please like open your videos so that we can see your faces on the screen, and we are gonna take a photo with the lecturer.
不是大家都在吗？
对你站旁边，
只有我呀。
刚才所有的女生都在弄头发。
必须得弄头发呀。
哎，心雨，你站起来。
这样行吗？
啊，可以，那我这样不用。心雨，你的电脑低一点。Okay, guys, we're going to take photos. 1, 2, 3, cheese. And 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 延迟长。Okay, 1, 2, 3. 还有延迟，还有人在看。Okay, 1, 2, 3 again. Okay, guys, here is for today's session. Thank you for joining us again. So as I just mentioned, I'll stay here for a few minutes if you have questions about the country report. So I'm here to answer your questions. So if you have no questions, you can leave now, and I'll see you all tomorrow for next session. Okay, if you have questions about country report, you can here to ask.
Thank you very much.
看不着你。
看不着。
从那个手机，从那个镜头再转。
拜拜。
它有延迟，我看。
有延迟。
看，后续再退。
对。
行，今天就 OK 了。
这要离开吗？好专业啊，这个东西啊。